Okay, guys. This message, the name of it is going to be called The Fake Option. The Fake Option. Now, this sermon is going to be a very quick message. I really don't have much to say. I just know that somebody that's going to tune in needs to hear this simple thing that I'm about to say and elaborate on real quick. This message is on patience. But now, hold up. Before you turn this audio or video sermon off, depending on what you're tuning into, before you shut it down and say, oh, I know what patience is. I know about it. I've heard about it. I've heard many sermons on it. Da 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 da. Hold on. Hold on. This isn't your typical message on patience. And what I mean by that is this. Usually when people talk about patience, they give you the definition of what patience is, and they explain the importance of patience, and they break down the reasons why as Christians it's a necessity to have patience. And sometimes God allows you to go through things to build up your patience and your endurance, and da 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 da, the whole 9 yards, right? Okay. But in this quick message, you got to understand that that's not who this message is for. It's not for someone who doesn't understand. It's not for someone who they're new to the concept of patience. Whoever this word is for, you are somebody that you get it. You get it. You know what it is. Your patience has been tried and tried and tried. Matter of fact, you've been probably in a season of your patience being tried and built. You get it. You understand it. You know the importance of it, the whole 9 yards. But what I'm here to tell you in this message is, whoever this is for, the enemy wants you to feel like you have another option. Whoever this is for, you've been patient for something that you've been believing for, and man, it has been, whatever this has been, it's been like the ultimate test of your patience. Whoever this is for, you've been going through something and you've been waiting on God for something that's been the ultimate test of your patience. You've been waiting and praying and just, your flesh has been getting irritated from time to time, and you just have to keep overcoming the flesh and keep just clinging to God and praying and just, it's just been a huge test for you, and it hasn't been something that's been just recent. It's been something that's been playing out for a while, and I don't know if it's weeks, months, or maybe even years, but there's something that you've been believing for, maybe some type of breakthrough or some type of financial help or health help or helping in a relationship or a marriage or something. But there's some area in your life where it's just like it's been a trying time for you, and God has been allowing some things to play out for the building up of your patience. And really, it's about seeing whether or not it's something that you really want, because if something is really worth having, you'll be willing to wait for it. And many times in today's world, we're used to just going after what we want and just getting it right away. Many people, older people, call it a microwave society. We live in a microwave society. That's what they say. And it's their way of saying it doesn't have to be put on a stove and mixed up and stirred and cooked and, worked up. We live in a world today where we just want to just pop it in the microwave, so to speak. We want something to just be already ready. We just pop it in the microwave for a few minutes and we got it. And, we want our whole lives to just be that way. Like, we put in very little effort. We wait for just a moment and then we get whatever we want whenever we want it. And for many of us, when something is that way, we just easily give up on it because we're used to getting things faster than how things used to be. And we want our whole lives to be that way. So whoever this is for, it's been a trying time when it comes to your patience. And there may have been times where you felt like giving up, but you kept holding on. And the enemy of your soul, the adversary, the devil, right now wants you to feel like you have an alternative. He wants you to feel like you have another option, but really it's a fake option. And the reason why he's trying to get it in your mind, the reason why he's trying to speak things into your mind to make you feel like it's okay to give up, it's okay to throw in the towel and just be impatient and let your flesh have its way, and you just try to make everything play out how you want by giving up on what God has for you and giving up on God's way and just moving right along, and you can do better just doing however you want to do things on your own. The reason why is because what you've been waiting for is near. You're the closest to it than you've ever been. And the enemy knows that you have taken your tolerance of patience to the next level, and he knows you might just finally get what you want. In other words, he understands that it's a time where you're not still going to be going in circles, getting real close but then backing up, getting real close and then taking a detour, getting real close and ending up at a roadblock, getting real close but then going over to a dead end, getting real close but then going back in another circle again. In other words, cycles. And because you've broken the cycle, and because you decided to plant your feet and be patient and seriously wait on the Lord, the enemy doesn't like what's about to happen. So you're being presented with a fake option, but you can't take the option. Not that you literally can't. You can give up, but you really can't. In other words, you can't afford to take this option. You really can't afford to lose patience and blow your top and give up. And here's the example I'm going to use to get the point across, because when I thought of this, it came to me instantly, and I was like, this is a perfect example. Many times I hear guys sit around and talk about like the women in their lives, like their girlfriends or their wives or whatever. And I've heard people talk about it. I've heard comedians talk about this a lot, stand-up comedians. And what they say is this right here. They'll talk about how they'll be talking to their woman about something that maybe they want to buy, something they want to get, or maybe a place that they want to go, or something that they want to do, right? And it's like they're trying to get permission. And their woman's like, oh, no, don't do that. Don't go buy that. Don't get that. You don't need to spend your money on that. You don't need to go hang out with that person because they don't mean you know well. I don't want you to go to that party because I don't trust that girl there. She's going to try to get you to cheat, blah, 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 blah. She's like, no, don't do that, right? And then another time, the guy will bring it up again, and the woman's like, no, don't do that. I don't want you to do that, right? So they'll have this on-again, off-again argument about something, and the woman keeps saying no. And what will happen is eventually they'll get into this argument again, and the woman will do this. She'll say, fine, go ahead and do it. I don't care. You go if you want to. You can go do that if you want to. You can go buy that if you want to. You can go over their house if you want to. Go ahead. I don't care. Just go on and do it if you want to. Right? They'll say you can do it, but they've got this huge attitude about it, and they got that real sinister, ticked off look on their face, and you can tell by their mannerisms and their demeanor that they really don't mean what they're saying, but they're saying what you want them to say, right? So it's like they're giving you an option, but not really. They're giving you an option, but if you're honest, you know it's a fake option. Like, okay, you can do it, but they really don't want you to do it. You know what I mean? And so sometimes younger guys or guys that, you know, they don't really know any better, they haven't really had this experience before, a lot of times when they hear the woman say that, they'll be like, oh, you sure, baby? Oh, okay, all right. And then they go and do it, and then when they do, you know, that thing that the woman finally was like, okay, you go ahead and do it. When they do it and they come back, the woman is like super ticked off. She's going off on them, cussing them out. And the guy's like, well, wait a minute, you said I could go do it, right? But the older guys, or the guys who have had moments with women like this enough, they'll tell you that when she finally says, oh, you know what, go on and do it, I don't care. They know that it's the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite of what she's saying. She's saying she doesn't care, but she does. She's saying you can do it, but really you can't. It's just, it's all the opposite of what she just said. You know, And they've learned from experience that when she blows up like that, but says you can do it, but is mad when she's saying it, that no, you don't really do it. You really don't go do it. Because not only is she gonna be really mad and go off on you when you go and do it and come back and tell you did it, but the consequences of you going ahead and going against what she originally told you not to do, that consequence is gonna be way worse now that you did it after she said you could, then the consequence would have been if you had done it when she had just flat out said no. Let me say that again. If you do what she finally says you can do, but with an attitude, the consequence is going to be way worse than it would be if you had went on ahead and did it the first few times she had flat out just said no, right? She's gonna yell at you more. Maybe she'll give you the silent treatment. Maybe she'll stab you, throw some hot boiling water on you. You just never know. You just never know. But the point is, it's a fake option. She presents it as an option, but you can tell she really doesn't want you to take the other option. She doesn't want you to take the option of going ahead and doing it. She really just wants you to stick with the no's, the 50-11 no's that she gave you prior to finally saying go ahead and do it. So it's a fake option. The enemy wants to present you with a fake option. In other words, you can take the option to lose faith and patience, but at the same time, not really. It's like God is allowing this moment for the enemy to tempt you, because I'll put it to you this way. It's as if God has been with you so long through this season of patience, right? And he knows he can trust you now. So it's like a final, almost like a final test, if you will, before releasing the breakthrough, releasing the blessing. It's like he's going to kind of pause and just kind of take a step back and just let the enemy kind of, right? Because the enemy always wants to come in and mess with you right before breakthrough or right after a really big one, right? So he's going to kind of let the enemy kind of say some stuff here and there. And he's watching to see if you're going to take the fake option or if you're just going to go ahead and just keep waiting. You done waited so long. You made it this far. You might as well not give up. But it's important to see how you act if you feel like God is silent, or if you feel like God's not watching. And we all know God, he's watching. He's a God that never sleeps nor slumbers. But you know how our flesh will try to lie to us sometimes. Well, maybe God ain't paying attention right now. Y'all know how it is sometimes. Sometimes we kind of lie to ourselves. Well, maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe, we get the maybes. But that's what this is. You're presented with a fake option at the last moment. And even though you can take it, you can't. You know what I mean? That's why it's a fake option. And so that's what I need you to know. Revelations chapter 14, real quick. Verse 12. It says, "Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus." We see two important elements in this verse: patience and faith. Used to, I believed in, and I still believe it, and I still say it, and I've said it in sermons in the past. Fear can be like an opposite of faith, because fear, if you let it, can cancel out faith. But we know faith is supposed to cancel out fear, right? But it's all about what you feed into the most, right? So that was my take on it, but I've realized that there's other opposites to faith, other things that come up against your faith. And one of the things that can be a great opponent to your faith and cancel out your faith is impatience. In other words, a lack of patience. Because patience and faith go hand in hand. And if you lack patience, you may have faith, but it's only going to last for so long. So you may believe for stuff and you may get the things that you believe for easier when you first become a Christian. But it seems like as your Christian walk grows over time, over the years, you see that there are challenges that come your way where things do not always come as easy and as quick. Right? And so your patience has to be tried because it's also your faith being tried. They go hand in hand. And so if you're too impatient, you may start out with faith. But if you have to have faith for too long, you'll lose faith. You'll tap out. You'll say, whatever, I give up. So they work together. We know as Christians, and y'all have heard this quoted so many times about how the Bible lets us know that we don't know the day nor hour when Jesus returns. We know he's coming. We just don't know the exact day or hour. And a lot of people make the mistake of trying to predict literally the day, the actual hour on the clock. Many random people have done it. Even people in churches, preachers in churches have done it over the years. And we've probably seen instances in the news of that happening where someone's like, oh, I know it. And they've got their, mathematical equation written down of how they came up with the exact day and hour. And they tell it to people and preach it to people. And they go outside of the church and tell it to people. And they get folks all pumped up and people excited. And they rally together on that day. And they patiently wait on that hour, which is good that they have patience. But they wait patiently on that hour, and when that hour hits, Jesus doesn't show up, and they say, well, hold on, maybe this is a test of our patience. And then he doesn't show up. And people are mad and crying and offended. Well, why didn't he come? I thought he was going to come, even though the word lets us know that that's not how it plays out. We know he's coming, but we don't know when. And that bothers us because many of us get impatient. There are many of us that we are so ready for the return of Jesus. We're so ready. But it does something to us. It messes us up. It does something to us. We feel some type of way, as people say today. We feel some type of way about this. We feel some type of way about the fact that we don't know the exact time. Because it's almost like people have the mindset of, well, let me just do what I want, and then when it gets close time for him to come, then I'll worry about getting myself together. Then I'll worry about refraining from sin. Then I'll worry about going to church. Then I'll worry about praying. Then I'll worry about getting in the word. Then I'll worry about, see what I'm saying? And so since we know he's coming, and we know as time goes by we get closer, but we don't know exactly when, it's a trying of our patience. And a trying of our faith, and especially a trying of our faith when we see a lot of bad things going on in the world, and we see worse and worse things, and we know it's signs of the times, but it hurts us to keep seeing things and knowing that there's this great falling away coming, and all these things, the beast power and the mark of the beast and all these things. It's heartbreaking to us knowing that there will be people out there that will take that route, that will not serve the Lord, that will serve the beast, that will stay in the world, however you want to say it or look at it. And so we want so bad for him to come back. And he's coming, but we have to stay patient. The way I kind of look at it, and this is just kind of an opinion, but to me, it seems like the people that are so sure he's coming, just like literally any second, they may have to wait a little bit longer than they think they have to. But the people who think that they've got a long time to wait, I think Jesus is coming back way sooner than they think. So in other words, whatever you believe is probably going to be the opposite, because you can't know the exact day or exact hour. But all we know is that he is coming, and that we must have the faith to continue to believe in the return of Jesus. And we must have patience to endure and wait it out, regardless of all the negativity going on around us that makes us want all this madness to finally be over. So with that being said, if we know that even though we all believe for individual things and we have to be patient for individual things in our individual lives, the one thing we all have in common as Christians that we are all waiting on is the return. So if we don't know as a whole, as a collective, the exact day or hour that the return is, that means that even with whatever it is for you specifically who needs this message, whatever it is that you on an individual basis, whatever it is that you are waiting for specifically for you from God in your life, you got to know that God may not tell you the exact day or hour when something is coming. And the more you predict it and get it wrong, the more it's going to hurt you. So you have got to be patient, and you cannot lose faith. But remember that faith and patience go hand in hand. Do not take the fake option. Just like how people will take the mark of the beast and think that everything's going to be better and things are going to be more at peace. But those people will find out when it's too late that they're serving some dictator. They're serving the devil in disguise. They're serving the powers of darkness. And that the true peace comes through Jesus. And that it may not be an easy wait, but it's worth the wait. Because anything truly worth having and achieving and accomplishing is worth the wait. I thank you all for tuning in, and I'll pray us out of here. Heavenly Father, I thank you for another time to minister another message. I pray that whoever would need this word, that they would tune in, that they would listen to it, Lord, that they will receive it wholeheartedly. I pray that they would not lose patience, and that even though they know they may have faith to believe for big things, faith to believe for things that people that they know don't believe for, people in their family may not believe for. They may be believing for things that people in their town, their community may not believe for. They may have huge faith to believe in all kinds of things, and you may be impressed by their faith, Lord, but at the end of the day, if they do not have the patience to back up the faith, it won't even matter. Lord, I give you all the praise, the glory, and the honor. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.